Base is dropped on a new round of Soccer's morning show here at the SDH Network. John, hear you there. It's a newsy Tuesday, probably the best way to describe it. Sorry about 9:06. I got caught trying to find the information about Jorge Mas and the Ole Sports Summit yesterday in Miami. There were a couple of things to take out of that. We'll get into that as we go this morning. Morning, Alex. So busy news day because we got some stuff. We got a lot of stuff involving the Euros. And what happened yesterday will get you caught up with what happened yesterday and the after effects and some dudes who might not be able to play for the rest of the group stage because of colliding with folks' shoulder blades, or more like shoulders and rotators. When a head hits a shoulder really doesn't have a whole lot of place to go. And so we had an incident there yesterday, and we'll be getting into the rules of engagement involving that particular incident and why some folks are still needing to catch up with others. So we've got the Euros to get you ready for today. We've got some Atlanta United news. I know that you've seen the Landon Donovan picture, and full credit to Don Ovan and Mike McGee for letting us know what actually happened with that. So we'll get into that as well. Let's see. So what else do we have this morning? We've got the Premier League schedule release, and apparently Liverpool's run-in is just ridiculous. Manchester City starts with Chelsea, I believe, so we'll be getting into that schedule as we go this morning. We do have some Atlanta United news. We have some Atlanta United adjunct news. We have some stupidity down here. So there's plenty to play with this morning, and whatever's on your mind after yesterday, if there's still anything on the table having to do with Atlanta United and Houston and Major League Soccer and all of that stuff. We had to push back the interview with the Della Perutas because a physical therapy session is going on right now. And so that'll be on later this week. So recapping what's going to happen this week, it is tomorrow with Atlanta United and DC up in DC. Reminder, set your fantasy teams, because it's a double match week. So you can set it up to be a double match week team, or you can sit there and go, no, I just want to do it with the teams that are only playing one time this week. So don't forget, set your fantasy rosters. Jason Wright Agency on Facebook, Wright with a W, Jason Wright, WRIGHT Agency. On the Twitters, it's Jason Wright, AGEN with a W. If you haven't joined the Fantasy League, join the Fantasy League because it's cool. And you get to beat me on a weekly basis or a double match week basis. I'm just having the worst luck this year. Had a lead, and then LA gave up a late goal, and that cost me my win. So don't forget to join the Fantasy League. Tyler tomorrow at 9:15. Busiest man in the Northeast, hopefully Dylan Butler joining us at 10. We'll see if Jason can join us from DC at 10:30. Then remember, tomorrow afternoon and evening, it is also with what Scott Flood is doing, having to do with Argentina in town for the Copa. Go to Lee and White from like 5:30 to 9. It's a big celebration of Argentina. There's a documentary, there's partying, and there's stuff. So if you make it to Lee and White tomorrow afternoon, like from 5:30 to 9, there's a lot of things going on. Don't forget to keep track of things at the Flood Project on Facebook as well, and with what Scott is doing as all of the big work that he's doing here with the SDH Network as well. But yeah, 5:30 tomorrow, and then working till about 9 involving the Argentina squad. Did you see, by the way? Did you see all the folks that were hanging around Kennesaw and hanging around the fraction? All the folks that were hanging around the fraction. So I guess this is kind of like this elongated opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. There's your QR code for those of you who are hanging out with us, however you are doing so, either on the YouTubes, on Twitch, or on the 280-character app. Use that QR code. You click on it, you get to Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Don't forget to use the code SoccerDownHere15. You get 15% off your purchase. They in turn take 10%, reinvested into youth games, youth initiatives, stuff that they have earmarked as cool. Right there, use the QR code at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. So let me see if I can distract from QR codes and things. But yes, over my left shoulder, it's our friends at Alliance Nurse Corps. If you are looking for a new career, perhaps in the nursing field, hit that QR code over my left shoulder as you're looking at camera right, as you are looking at what's going on. And if that, when they ask you, how'd you hear about us? You say soccer down here. So QR code for our friends at Alliance Nurse Corps, over 30 years of experience in the business, and they will help you out as you are tracking down nursing as a new career. So did you see, and I know that this, for those that follow the sport, wherever Messi goes, wherever Argentina goes, there's a lot of folks. There's always a lot of folks. You're tracking down everything. You're tracking down everybody. You're making sure that you don't miss anything. You're chasing after. You're chasing after your favorite players. Did you see how crazy it got up at the fraction yesterday after practice? After practice yesterday, the buses, like I said, I don't know if they stopped at the McAllisters and got like box lunches or got like a snack on the way out. But I mean, it was different.
All the action at the fraction has been one way, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, if you're not a fan of Argentina, that's our buddy Ross Davenport. But yesterday at practice, I mean, it's still kind of surreal to sit there and see Lionel Messi walking down walking down the ramp and getting ready for what's going on the field in Kennesaw. It's a little surreal. And so Argentina has their practice. That's where they're practicing. U.S. and Canada, they are practicing at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground. And Panama is practicing at the Lovett School. And so, take your signs and take your hydration and support smartly during this particular section of the tournament. But did you see the video? And it's, Diario Olay and all of and Taysay, they're all there. And you just see that the road right next to, and, Maddie's on vacation, so she doesn't have to experience any of this stuff. But all of the fans that are there to see these buses going out of the fraction and making that left-hand turn and heading toward the mall and getting back toward downtown Atlanta, just lining the streets at the backside of Fifth Third Stadium, and then the streets as you work your way out. It's a little surreal. Do not misunderstand. It's very cool, but it's a very surreal look to see folks who are chanting and showing signs, and hopefully, up against sign, perhaps getting an autograph or something like that. But yes, Alex, absolutely. It is Hootie Hoo. So you have this collision of Hootie Hoo and Lionel Messi and the Argentine national team as they practice up in Kennesaw. So it's just kind of it's a surreal look. But no, the streets were lined, and it was very, very cool to see all of those things happening with Kennesaw getting to experience Argentina, Atlanta getting to experience the Argentine national team. Because when they showed up, and they make that big swing downtown Atlanta, and they pull into the hotel, and you see the buses that are there, and streets are lined, and everybody knows where they are. So you're looking at it's been fun. It's been a fun watch for Argentina and for Canada as they get ready for their matchup on Thursday, and then after that, it'll be a week from Thursday. It'll be the U.S. and it'll be the U.S. and Panama at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Tom will be getting into that as well this morning. So there's plenty. They are downtown, and I want to say it's at the Hyatt downtown. It's on the Strip, and I want to say it's the Hyatt downtown. But like I said, you can't miss it because there's fans hanging out outside the hotel, and the buses come rolling up, and everybody's there. So I think it's the Hyatt, but it's right there in the heart of downtown. So, but yeah, it's been a surreal experience to see the Argentine national team getting followed all the way up to Kennesaw. So the fans of Argentina get to experience traffic up 75. And I'm imagining that there are some folks that are just getting there now who wanted to see practice yesterday. But no, they are downtown. They are outside the hotel. They're outside the fraction up in Kennesaw, and it's a fun watch. And so we got all that, to keep an eye on over the next couple of days. So once again, Thursday, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And there were folks that I know that were trying to sit there and figure out how to get tickets. I said, really, if you want to do that, then what you do is you just go down there and you wait until after kickoff, like right after kickoff. And then if there's any seats, if there's anybody out there who's like, need to, got to, then you sit there and it's like, yeah, I think that the match has already started. If you can live without the introductions and the pomp and the circumstance and the anthems and all that kind of stuff, then you probably can wait until a little after kickoff, prices plummet, and then you can get in the door. So, wow. Wiley has an extra. So if you want to go and you want to hang out with Wiley and go watch the match, then catch up with Wiley. Wiley's got an extra. Man, you are an MVP. You are going to make somebody's day and perhaps even your wallet. I'm just saying. Man, you now that you have put that information out there, sir, you are seriously going if you put it out there in places other than the show, you just might make sure that your phone buzzer is turned off and your phone's turned off and that you just accept text messages silently. So if you're interested, Wiley's got an extra. Public service announcement. Wiley's got an extra. Double check and see if your bank account can handle it, and if you have enough emotional capital within your relationship, if you are with a significant other, that you can afford to do this. Wow, Wiley's got an extra. Wow. Okay. Wiley's got an extra, everybody. So if you're interested in going, check with Wiley. But no, it's been very surreal. And Tom's got 2 extra for next Thursday. Tom is not interested in going to see the U.S. and Panama. So if he's got 2 extra, or if he doesn't, he's got 2 folks that bailed. Sorry, let me get my modifiers correct. Tom's got 2 extra for the U.S. match. So Wiley's got an extra. Yeah, it's Wiley's got an extra for Argentina. Tom's got 2 extra for the U.S. match. So work your way that way if you're interested in going. If you've got enough emotional capital built up in your relationships, and if you've got enough money to satisfy the bottom line, then catch up with Wiley for this week and Tom for next week and see if you're interested in going. So Tom is going. You get to sit with Tom and yell at Greg Berhalter for 2 hours. So that's and if we may as well just sit there and say that we're almost like we're your favorite ticket broker. Need to, got to. So Wiley's got 1. Anybody need 1 for this week? Tom's got 2. Anybody need 1 or 2 for next week? That's where we are. So anybody else that has all this information? No, Tom, yeah, I had to look at the modifiers, Tom. I had to look at the modifiers over again. But so if you're there with Wiley, morning, Jared.
You're making an exasperated sound. What happened?
No, I'm Wiley has an extra for Argentina, and Tom has 2 extra for next week for the U.S. I'm just, if you're interested in connecting with either Wiley or Tom, I'm just hoping that these individuals have enough emotional capital built up in their relationships and enough financial capital to make sure that this happens, so the emotional capital does not completely and totally wander away in these 2 instances. If you're interested in going. Mm-hmm. Yes. You see? Uh-huh. Yes. Okay, Smales. So that's where we are. And I was also commenting on how the fans of the Argentine national team have found their way both to downtown Atlanta and have discovered traffic up 75 to go see the team to go see the team up in Kennesaw at the Fraction.
I love the fact that I love the fact that you have Argentina fans lining the little access road of Fifth Third Stadium, and outside the door, the apartments have had more than one shooting. Um,
Yes.
it's very funny seeing Kennesaw being taken over by the Argentine contingency.
Oh yeah.
We do need to find out what's his order. Like, I need to know. Can if we buy Messi a cookout tray, what's he getting on it?
Oh, see, there you go. That's what you've got to get that squared away. That is the real. Yeah, that's the real thing here.
He might fight everybody on that front. I mean, there's always that potential, but also I need to know, like, if Messi and crew went to Highlands, which is Highlands is a little like restaurant bar in Kennesaw, and if you went to Kennesaw State there, you ended up there multiple times, and you may not be sure how you ended up there or why you ended up there, because there's nothing fancy or special or even great about it. It just kind of exists. So I'm very interested to know if he ever ended up there.
Yes, absolutely. Katie, Turkey and Georgia is at noon on Fubo. So we are there is no early game today because remember they slid the host match to be the solo. And so under normal circumstances, you'd have 3 today. But because of the host match being slid first, you've only got 2 today. And this is the second of the 5 that's on Fubo TV that will not be on FS1 or on Big FOX at noon. Turkey is a minus 150, and your total is 2.5. So you're safe until noon when it comes to Turkey and Georgia. 3 o'clock on Big FOX. It is Portugal and Czechia, and Portugal's a minus 210. Once again, your total is at 2.5. So you're in good shape. So we get to recap everything to this point this morning. We'll get into the Euros coming up in just a little bit. So yeah, if you're looking to go next week, pair up with Tom. He's got 2. And if you're looking to go to Argentina's match, check in with Wiley. Wiley's got an extra. Oh my God, I don't even want to know what you guys paid for your tickets. So that's the fun part. That is officially opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. There's your QR code for those of you who are watching, however you're accessing us this morning on the SDH network, on the YouTubes or on the Twitch or on the 280 character app right there. And what you do, you click on the QR code to kick off your day. See what I did there? You kick off your day. Don't forget to use the code Soccer Down Here 15 when you pick up Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. And they in turn take 10% and reinvest it into youth games, youth initiative stuff that they have done, that they have earmarked as cool. Our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Okay, there's a couple of pieces of Atlanta United news. One's Jaden Hibbert. We'll get into that in just a second. The continuing saga, I feel like I should have some kind of music or, some kind of dramatic music that goes into something like this. Because it's like day 3 of radio silence.
At this point, though, and I know where you're going with this.
I know.
At this point, personally, I don't care anymore. Like, it's done.
Yeah,
you're done. Like, I know some people are. I feel like I've seen the tenor change on the socials from people about this individual. But I have no interest in, like, at this point, of waiting for anything, and you just have to move forward.
Yeah,
you have to move forward with the idea of, I'm going to be better off, and we're going to have to try and keep winning without them.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the comments out of Mexico are interesting, though.
Yes, they are. We have them. We are in officially day 3 of waiting for some kind of a tip of the hat.
I don't know if you're going to get it. I'll tell you, I don't care. It would be cool because I think
it's respectful.
It would have been, you were kind of waiting for it because of what Gigi meant to, I think, this fan base, as he was that striker that was to follow Joseph, and numbers wise was doing that job for a year. And you felt like it was the kind of move for a 29-year-old striker who could come in here and do it for 4 years or so and put up numbers and be an important part of history. And it wasn't, for, I guess, a myriad of reasons, most of them financial. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I think, people had latched onto him in hopes that he would be that guy. And then, hey, man, the mercenary's going to do mercenary things.
I get it. I get that. That's perfectly fine. I would have just, we are in day 3 of perhaps wanting a show of respect for the fans and the 17s and those attached to the club and all this kind of stuff. It was something that he did when he left Celtic. And we're talking about Giorgos Giakoumakis, obviously. It was announced Sunday that it's officially official. He's been transferred to Cruz Azul. So yesterday, he has his opening press conference. He is there with Cemento Cruz Azul. He's wearing the jersey. He's got the number. He has the 2 bags of cement on the table in front of him. I guess they're holding up the microphone or something like that. So
it just sounds like it's when you talk about like the bag of cement holding up the microphone, it sounds like a spot. It sounds like we're about to get into a work.
Yeah, it's so. Cruz Azul doing whatever they need to do to have their elements out there on the press conference table. And so Fabrizio Dominguez Castilla, he had one of the big sound bites. He works for Deportes W Radio, Somos Caliente TV. And so he is at the press conference yesterday involving Giorgos Giakoumakis. So here's the money quote, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, with Giorgos Giakoumakis and what he said about his time in Major League Soccer. Once again, this is from our buddy Fabrizio Dominguez Castilla yesterday at Gigi's press conference.
So since Cruz Azul showed some interest in me, I started following all the games. I watched all the playoffs, quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, every single game, and I think the level here is higher. So I was really excited. I wanted to make it happen, and Cruz Azul showed me how much they want me, and that was a crucial factor for me to make my decision. Cruz Azul for sure is a team that I think is a level higher than MLS for sure, and is a team that is chasing records, chasing trophies, and is a winner. They try to win always, every single trophy. So for me, I love to work for these teams, to play for these teams, because the expectations are high. Your motivation has to be always there, and it's not okay to lose. Sometimes that's a bad thing in MLS, that it's okay to lose some games, and I hate it.
It's okay to lose some games, and I hate it. That's something bad about MLS. They think it's okay to lose, good to lose sometimes, and I hate it.
I feel like the Twitch pitch and social media will tell you otherwise. Because we talk about, and I know it's kind of become its own meme at this point. I acknowledge that as I say this out loud. It is tough to win on the road in MLS, and it is statistically it's hard to win on the road in this league. Teams do get it done, but at the end of the season, when you look at road records, you'll only see a couple teams that have really good road records. Everyone else is just kind of you just kind of go in. The idea is you win your home games and you draw your road games. You want to snatch those points away from teams. I don't think it's okay to lose in MLS.
Yeah, it's okay. That's the thing that got me. It's okay to lose in MLS.
I promise you it's not. Have you met our fans? Have you met fans in this league? Have you met fans in this country? Everyone, whether they acknowledge it or not, is looking for an invincible season. Yeah. They're not going to get it because, as we saw with Miami, you can't travel a team from Miami to Vancouver, which is as long or longer than any like Europa Conference League sickos matchup, and then turn around a couple of days later and play the coldest team in the league, performance and results wise.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, you're not going to get invincibles in this league, guys. To Alex's point as well, like, and unless it's okay to you, true when you only play 50% of the matches you're paying. See, that's where this gets interesting, and I'll reiterate my point with him, because I'm going to be interested to see how he does physically at Cruz. A lot of his injuries last year, I chalked up to the fact that he played consistently from the fall of 22 until the end of 23. He played for over a calendar year straight. And I figured that's wear and tear and a lot of games in the body. I'll give him a pass for 23.
Right there with you. Exactly.
Popping up with new muscle injuries, though, in 24. What? The knee knock is fine because it's a contact injury. But if you're getting new muscle injuries this year, like you got at the end of his time here, that's where you start to kind of side-eye it a bit. Oh, is this going to be a trend?
Yeah.
Or is this a trend now for you? Man, yeah, it's
it's okay to lose. It's okay to lose in MLS.
Yeah, and to Alex's point, like he did contribute to those results. Whether it's missing opportunities or whatever it is, man. Like
not being in the starting 11, being injured.
Yeah, being banged and being hurt is something you can't help. Like when it's a muscle thing, like you cannot go to. We're not in cyberpunk. We can't just replace your hamstring with like carbon fiber. It'd be great if we could. We can't. Carbon fiber probably not the best material to use for that, just for the lack of mobility you would have with it. But, dude, that's I love the idea of like it's not okay. I hate losing. Yeah, I agree. Pretty sure.
I don't think anybody likes.
Pretty sure nobody likes losing. I did a lot of losing in my life in sports. I can't begin to tell you how much losing I have done. It is sizable.
Yeah.
Didn't enjoy a single moment of it. Because I think to the the behind the scenes video, like Gonzalo Pineda certainly didn't seem to like it either when he was kicking bags and telling them that like the league, you're supposed to be Atlanta United. Yeah. The league isn't afraid of you. Our fans are booing us, and they're right. Like it doesn't seem like anybody was okay with losing.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, we should be able to 3D print hamstrings. Yeah, hamstrings, groins, and adductor muscles and obliques.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That should be what we can 3D print in this point of our life. See, to Michael Head's point of the player's mentality, I talked about this is what I was getting at yesterday, John, and Michael, about like, great that Luke Brennan went out there and did what he did in that game. And yeah, you're not going to repeat it every time. But if the kids want to go out there and bust ass and do the job, then I'm fine playing the kids if they're going to go out there with heart. Two of the things that kind of raised my eyebrows in the last 2-3 weeks. Mm-hmm. One is that behind the scenes video, like you had Noah Cobb speaking up.
Yeah.
With Dax and with Goose. Mm-hmm. I love that Noah Cobb was willing to speak up. Mm-hmm. He shouldn't have to.
No.
Somebody else should pick up that mantle.
Yeah.
And I know some guys lead by example and they're not vocal leaders. I get that. I've played with guys like that who can be instrumental to holding a team together when it's tough. Because they'll go out there and they'll do the job. They won't give you the rah-rah, but they will, through their effort and through their work on the field, they will be leaders.
Yeah.
I get that. But Noah shouldn't have had to. Mm-hmm. And then the other one was in the Charlotte match, Jay Fortune coming on and running his ass off, getting an assist, laying into people. If the kids are going to do that, then play the kids. I mean, play the kids anyway, so they get experience and see what you have.
Yeah.
But if the kids are going to bring the fight and other people aren't, then find the people who will bring the fight. And Tom, like, there was clear boos in that DC match. There were clear boos in games. And I think that's what Gonzo was talking about. Is, our fans booed us, and they were right.
Yeah.
That video will stick with me for a bit, just because it's the contrast of him. Like, he won't
He's not
dog his players to us,
but
who, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
He jammed them then, and they needed it. And obviously they needed something, because they're not getting the results, and you're still having those moments where you're just not doing it, and it's I don't know what you do in terms of like changing up that leadership, if that's the thing. Because Noah Cobb speaks up. Noah Cobb speaks up like that. Great, keep him on the field. Let him yell at people.
Yeah.
There's one that Jason would talk about sometimes, and it was last year. I think because it was Wiley, and I think it was Gigi. Like, I think it was Gigi yelling at Wiley about something, and Wiley snapped back at him, and like, he's here. Like, Wiley's good. He'll be fine.
Yeah. I think you're right.
It was they weren't fighting, like it wasn't like a fight on the field, but like speaking up for each other. Like, the kids are gonna have to speak up for each other and have to speak up to the team, and somebody has to drag them forward. Yeah, man. That's an interesting point, Tom, and the idea of Gigi was referring to some of the players maybe felt like didn't take losing hard enough. Maybe.
Just because you're not demonstrative doesn't mean that you don't take losing hard.
So here is the thing. That he's played in the last two places he's played, losing has a weird feel to it. We know here, people don't take losing well because you set a standard early. Mm-hmm. It's a different animal in Scotland.
Expound.
Because if you play for the old firm, let's look at the records. Hold on.
Okay, efforting.
I'm looking at them. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
I forgot they renamed the cinch. It's the William Hill Premiership table.
William Hill Premiership has got the new
absolute crime. Just absolute garbage. Long live the cinch. You know how many matches? It's a Rangers lost the title and people were distraught. Do you know how many matches they lost last year?
3.
Yes.
Oh, I got it.
Celtic lost 1.
Okay.
You don't lose with the old firm. When Neil Lennon lost the title, which would have been 10 in a row, which is the hallowed number in Scotland.
Yes.
The Celtic and Rangers have both been on 9 in a row and have it thwarted from them at the last minute. I think he lost 4 matches that year or 5 matches that year. You don't lose. And a lot of that is because you have more money than God compared to everyone you're playing with.
Correct.
It's a different thing where like you can't you're almost not allowed to lose over there.
Yeah. And
you are going to. Like, they lost to Kilmarnock early in the season in the cup. Which was just a weird, like, that was a peak Derek McInnes game. 11 men and the bus behind the ball.
Yes.
Pop out for a set piece goal or for a quick transition goal on something weird. That's the kind of thing that happens. But yeah, I mean, the last 2 places he's played, losing has really not been acceptable. But yeah, man, I don't think it's ever okay to lose here.
Ask the college football fans in the discussion how they feel about losing.
Yeah.
Well,
and so here's the thing, Uncle.
Yes.
This is why I talked about this yesterday about changing up the roster. a lot of the bodies you've added in the past year are going to be on multi-year deals. And I like a lot of them. Like, I really likes Deion Gregerson and the fact that he looks like he's going to stab someone.
Yeah.
Derek Williams has been great.
Yeah.
There are Tristan William Ba. Yeah, Tristan William Ba. Mm-hmm. It's fallen off. Ironically, his best games early, like late last season, were partnered with Mateus Osetu, and who everybody could not wait to get rid of. I think that was when he looked like he was at his best. Bartek Schlich, I think, got called out after the DC game and responded well. Mm-hmm. And has a little bit of sandpaper to him. We know that Jay Fortune has some sandpaper to him. Aiden Torres has some sandpaper to him, who's coming up to the academy. Mm-hmm. Efrain Morales, got a couple of starts under his belt now. I promise you, like that dude has let the CONMEBOL rub off on him when he is with Bolivia's youth national setup. And I mean that in the greatest way possible. But you've done rebuilding in terms of talent. Shande Silva is starting to look like the Shande Silva you expected. Saba Lozaniza has been inconsistent this year, but he's been getting into good spots. He just needs to finish.
And I look at a guy like Saba, like you were looking at Gigi, where you basically he played the Turkish season, came over, mm-hmm. and then hit right into the MLS season. So he hasn't had that break either, playing that straight year and a half.
I'd be interested to see what they do next, because you are going to have options, and we talked about this with. Now you're going to look at a striker, and you're going to look at something. I know people talked about. People have been in my mentions talking about like wait till the next coach. You're 3 points out of a playoff spot. You have a very favorable run in for Open Cup, and you have Leagues Cup, and it's weird.
Yeah.
You just never. I don't ever like punting on cup competitions because they're weird.
Yeah.
You never know when you'll find a weird hot streak that comes out of nowhere. Now if you wash out a Leagues Cup, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Don't yell "I told you so" at me. You just you give it a shot and you see what happens. However, you're gonna look, because if you got $10 million to burn on a striker, you should be able to go in the market. It's $1 million. Go find yourself a striker who can come in here and compete for a golden boot on a goals per 90 average.
Yeah.
Now you're not going to win a boot in the second half of the season. First of all, you're not going to catch Boyanga or Messi or Chichorango, because you're not going to, unless somebody starts popping off like hat tricks 3 times in a row.
Yuya Kubo.
I've wanted Yuya Kubo in Atlanta since 2019.
I know.
And I cannot express enough how much I have wanted Yuya Kubo in Atlanta, and seeing him thrive elsewhere just makes me sad. Yeah, man, like you're gonna look at something there. You're possibly, I know like the stuff hit yesterday, and like people are firing off takes about Almada. Again, like I think Doug mentioned this as well. Like those are always a two-way street. Like a team has to come in with an offer that makes sense. Like, because we just saw this with I think it was Boca reached out to Dallas for Alan Velasco.
I did not see it.
I think it was somebody reached out to. There was a report this last week that somebody reached out to Dallas about Alan Velasco. And like the offer was like $3 million, which is less than they paid for him. Yeah. No, we're not doing that. Because if someone comes in here and offers like, we'll give you $8 million for Thiago Almada, you're not gonna take it.
No.
Unless you get like 90% sell on or something like that. So, let's see what kind of offers you get for him after the Olympics. Yeah. See what kind of offers you get for a Caleb Wiley if he does well at the Olympics, because both of those are potential moves. Caleb Wiley is 21 years old, and he has a lot of games under his belt. Be a very easy sell high kind of thing. Not necessarily that money is the be all end all, because in MLS it's not. Like, again, you don't get to keep all of your profits because it gets converted to this weird ass cam tam thing. And Don Garber's attempt to finesse the league in a way that allowed the Beckhams of the world, and it's just weird, and just open the damn thing up. I swear to God, MLS, just please open the damn thing up and don't make it more confusing, because I know you will make it more confusing.
Yeah. We know about PSV kind of kicking the tires on Caleb. Don't know what the deal, if there's been any other future kinds of conversations. I know that you've been kind of keeping an eye on the possibility of Caleb Wiley being shopped and shipped.
Well, I mean, because the Olympics are a great stage for that sort of thing. Yeah. It's a great place. The Olympics are a great place to shop. If you're a club that wants to shop in that range of younger guy with high upside, we can pay a good bit of money to bring him in now and then maybe get even more money down the road. By the way, if I'm not mistaken, Celtic had a sell on. So we don't, so I think Celtic gets like 10% of that Giacomakis sale.
Yeah. So the way that this works, if I'm not mistaken, is that Atlanta recovers all of their money that was spent on the investment. So if it's 4, it's 4. They get that all, they get that all back. Whatever is off the top, then Celtic gets their cut. And then from there, MLS gets a third. And then Atlanta takes the balance. So if it's third, and so 1/3, 33, 40, so 45% gone. So Atlanta would then recover their investment and then get 55% of what's left. And then it's converted into like $650,000 in AM. So you know, whatever else is there. But so it's not quite half. It's MLS gets a third. Atlanta recovers what they've spent. Celtic gets their cut. Atlanta gets the rest. So that's the layout, I think.
I think that's right. Just see how you deal with it, because that's potentially 2 DP slots and a left back slot. And how do you fill it in? And how do you balance finding guys who fit in terms of they have the skills that we want, but also have that sandpaper that you want? Because right now it kind of feels like you're looking for people with sandpaper, like Dax stepping up because he's, you know, been in the league for almost 20 years. Yeah. And he can be that guy who can speak up. Great. Yeah. Somebody else got to speak up too, man.
Yeah. And so you can, as much as you want to have one dude speaking up, I think you need to have as many voices in that discussion as possible. So, but yeah, where Miggy was concerned, it was everything you spent, transfer fee and wages, you get all that back. Then of that remaining, whatever it was, MLS would get a third. Atlanta takes the balance. So Atlanta, if it was 24 million, I forget what the number was with Miggy, Atlanta would get 20 of the 24. So that's where, and 650 went into the AM piggy bank at the time. And then you can increase your wage bill by that, or buy down a DP, or do whatever you need to do. So that was the shtick involving Miggy. So yeah.
So to Uncle's question, does that profit use for the next targets or pocket money? I think it's good the next target.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, man. And I can't say for sure. But I can say is until we see otherwise, I'm going to assume that they are going to throw Scrooge McDuck money at people.
I think so.
Until they don't do that. Now, because Atlanta United's overall salary this year in the league actually dropped, but you're still splashing cash on transfer. So, like, I would not be surprised if it's like you're shopping in like the $7 to $10 million range for another striker. Whenever you bring one in, and because I think they will try and reload now, like when the window opens. But there's also the idea that, like, if you go to the store and they don't have what you want, do you just buy something to buy something, or do you wait?
Yeah.
No, I think there will be plenty of options after the Euros. With the Olympics coming up, I think there will be options if you want to go buy, but they need to find the right fit.
Yes.
And whenever you can do that, you do that. But until they don't splash a bunch of money on transfers, I'm going to assume that they will, which is going to be interesting for Garth Lagerwey, because when he was in Seattle, it was kind of that era where Seattle was not the big dog anymore.
Yeah.
Like Atlanta was coming in and splashing a ton of money, and Seattle wasn't the big dog, and they got pragmatic with their spending. Nicoladero, just kind of guys, Raul Rui Diaz.
Yeah.
Like finding guys for a little bit less money. Well, you can shop in a different aisle here. You can shop in the $8 to $10 million aisle for a striker. You can, after, eventually you're going to move Thiago Almada. After that, you're going to shop in the. You're going to be allowed to shop in the $15 million aisle for an attacking midfielder. Here's a weird one for you. I wish Nick was here for this.
Yeah.
What if you called Romelu Lukaku?
Wow. 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 Oh, man. Wow. And by the way, Romelu Lukaku had, I think he's the first, he tied the record for the most close-up chances in the Euros, not converting at 3, and also was a part.
And 2 goals got called back.
Well, and that's the other part. 2 goals called back by VAR for the first time ever in the tournament.
Yeah, we haven't talked about those, man. We haven't talked about the fact that they're using cricket technology to track the deflection off the hand, which is just
Michael had on Lukaku.
No. I'm sorry, I can't say no that many times, which I think is the point.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And Michael, I think that if the number was 24, I think Atlanta ended up getting 20. I think that was what the breakdown was. Somewhere in there, because Atlanta recoups their investment, then MLS gets a third of the balance, and then we get the rest. But then you've also got you also have the other possible sell-ons down the line that are probably going to happen, because if Miggy is caught in the
Tom agrees.
Yes, there you go.
Oh man.
So I think it was 20. If it was 24, it was 20 involving Miggy, and PT, I think, was you recouped your investment plus, because at the time I think it was the second or third highest sale for a Major League Soccer player, second or third highest transfer in the history of Major League Soccer at the time. So you're making money. You've made money on both. You made a lot on Miggy. You made money on PT, and you doubled your investment with Gigi, assuming what the number is.
Yeah, and you're going to be looking to make money on those deals, but you're also going to be looking to win games, and you got to bring in guys who can do that. And I think it's interesting, because I don't know about the arms race, because Atlanta hasn't, like, Gigi last year was 4.5.
Yeah.
You brought in Gregerson's technically your DP, but it's the thing that it's because it's this thing that actually really annoyed me early in the season, because people were very much in their feelings about, we got another defender on DP just like last time. Well, he is a DP because you're buying down Saba. You're buying down other guys. That's why he is listed as a DP, because he's technically over the DP threshold.
Yeah.
But you're not but you're not buying him down. You're buying down a guy like Saba. The optics are different if it's Saba holding a DP slot versus Thiago Gregerson. It's just the optics of how you're spreading the money around. It doesn't have to be a thing where you want to get a torch and a pitchfork out just on that grounds alone. Yeah. There's other grounds, that's fine.
Yeah. The Miguel Almiron Atlanta United Training Center, or the Miggy U.S. Soccer Facility. Yeah.
And see, that's the thing. Tom. That's where I'm kind of interested. Is because he has more money to work with than he did in Seattle.
Yeah.
So if I say you have $7 to $10 million to go hunt a striker,
go hunt a striker.
Can you hunt a striker who does that, like a solid signing that's here for a while? Because that's what we thought Giacomakis was going to be.
Right.
I think we all expected that because you brought in a guy who was 28 at the time, I think.
Right.
Who put up the best goals per 90 in the league last year, not doing penalties. Like, might have won the boot if he took penalties. And yeah, man, like, it felt like he was going to be here for a while. And Cruz Azul flashed a big number at him. He had already started apparently negotiating with Atlanta United about a new contract. Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, it's very weird the way those negotiations go, I'm sure, because in MLS, it doesn't really matter once you're a designated player, you make whatever the hell you want. Like,
right.
Once you're a DP, like, you can, I'll pay you like $ Texas. I don't care. Yeah. You're already counting against me for a DP slot. So what's the matter?
Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to do the math. So if my math is right, I think this is correct. So if Gigi's 10, you recover your 4. That leaves you with 6. Atlanta United would get one third goes to Major League Soccer, 10% goes to Celtic, so that leaves you with 43% of $6 million, which is so it's out. So 55% of $6 million left is 3.3. So that's where I'm coming up with 3.3 as you're over the top on Gigi if it is 10. And that's the number that we heard. We heard anywhere from 10 to 12. If it's 10, just to be a round number, you recover your 4. That leaves you with 6. 10% plus 25% is out the door from that 6. So that leaves you with 43%, 43, 45, whatever. So in the mid 40s. And so mid 40s out the door. So that leaves you with 55% in the door. 55% of 6 is 3.3. So that's my math.
Swinging and missing has not deterred them in the past. I don't expect it to deter them now. Because you still went out and you splashed cash for Thiago Almada after BT Martinez,
right?
And after Ezequiel Barco and after Marcelino Moreno, like you're still going to swing big. I would imagine you make a splash, and maybe you get pragmatic with the striker role and you make a splash with the 10 next time it comes up because it feels like it's going to come up sooner rather than later with Thiago. I don't know where you make a splash with either one of those, but we'll see. I mean, bottom line is you thought you had. I think we all thought, and forgive me if I'm speaking for y'all out of turn. Mm-hmm. I certainly thought you had a striker for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I thought so too.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
who was going to come in and looked like he was going to be a 20 goal a season guy on average. Maybe you go higher, maybe you go lower, depending on how things go. It felt like that's what you had until you didn't. Yes. And I think that's where you would be shopping. If you can go get somebody 26 to 28 years old who can come in, put up numbers, and beat and want to plant down roots, man.
Yeah. David is trying to convince Alex to get rid of Alexander Isak. Oh, man. Pars wants to know if Garth sticks with the high 20, low 30s age group after Gigi and Almada.
I would like to think so.
Yeah.
And to Unc and Tom's point, that's the thing is like he's not in Seattle anymore.
Yeah,
he has more money. You have more money to play with.
Yes.
You can make some absolute. You can grip and rip on some of these deals if you need to. And I want him to know that. And I'm sure he does. I don't have to tell him that.
Yeah.
I want them to go big.
Yes.
Spend a bit more.
Yeah.
And go for it. Does Garth stick with the high 20s, low 30s age group? I would like to think so.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, there is going to be turnover there. So, like, the thing is, I know it's like the low and high out guys. You're expecting turnover there if you buy low and sell high.
Right.
But you also have to account for turnover if you shop in that window because Seattle's dealing with that right now. That's an older roster that has kind of come to the end of their run.
Yep.
So you just have to. You're always going to have to be turning guys over. That's the nature of it. No one is immortal. No one lives forever. This isn't like Madden where you can buy a perk to make sure that your older players age slower. Just don't have that. You're not going to find Luka Modric everywhere.
No, the contract decisions for the end of this season: Brad, Dax, Jamal, Daniel Rios, Ronald Hernandez, Nick Firmino, Efren Morales, Tyler Wolf, Jay Fortune. Those are your end of calendar.
A lot of those guys I'm going to be entering negotiations with. And the thing is, Emilio, I wonder if one of the reasons he moves on is because Atlanta looked at the muscle injuries and the amount of games played over the last 2 years and didn't want to commit $4 million to a guy who wasn't on the field all the time, and thought we can spend money and get somebody who will be on the field, because it's great that you put up those goal numbers last year. It's great that you started the year with a hat trick this year. No one makes the team better sitting on a training table.
Yep. And
I would love to know how much that factored into it. Rios would go back. This is my Porter Harbor. Rios, I imagine, goes back. Morales, I would love to keep.
Yes,
I think he has earned that shot.
Yeah, I think so.
Wolf, I think, goes, which sucks. I like Tyler Wolf. I think he's completely in his own head.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. With Goose, I wondered if you're kind of setting yourself up here to like have a plan for the future, like where Goose finishes this year, it's Cohen next year. Jaden Hibbert going on loan to Birmingham. We talked to Kaler. I talked to Kaler about it yesterday on Twitter. So Matt Van Okel's banged up.
Yes.
The rest of Birmingham's keeper core is banged up. So he might like jump into the fire.
Yeah.
Like might not be first game, but would not be surprised if Jaden Hibbert is getting benches and or starts very, very quickly for Birmingham while he's there. So it might be we're going to go get him games in USL, which is a step up.
Yeah, and you're getting him reps, and I think that way, because Atlanta United too, remember, had a 3-week layoff.
Stupid ass league.
Yeah, I know.
Second 3-week layoff in the calendar in this season. It's absolutely stupid. I'm going to try and come back for this.
Okay. All right. So right now, since we're in the contract.
To Emilio's point, striker that does well without injuries will be likely to leave here because he can't match. No, I think, but my argument is, I think you can match. If you get someone who is going to do that but stay healthy, I think you do match. I think you do tell them, hey, we'll pay you $6 million a year, $4 million a year, because they can stay healthy. Yeah. And you can match it, because once they're at a certain price point, doesn't matter. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Is I think you look at how many games he's available and you didn't want to pay him that, you can match with someone who will stay on the field.
So that's, that's where you are with your 24s. I know that Emilio was wondering. So since we're on this, the ones that end at the end of 24, once again, Brad, Dax, Jamal, Daniel Rios, Ronald Hernandez, Nick Firmino, and Efren Morales, who I think deserve those first-team opportunities. Tyler Wolf and Jay Fortune, who, once again, to me, deserves a first-team opportunity. 25s, end of next season. Not the end of this season, end of next. Quentin Westberg, Derek Williams, Shande Silva, Luis Abram, Brooks Lennon, Josh Cohen, Caleb Wiley. And you know that you're going to want to keep Brooks. And so at 26, you're going to want to keep Brooks. And that will be one of the decisions in the offseason this year leading into next season in 25. 26s, Saba, Muyumba, Tiago, according to Transfermarkt, is listed as the end of 26. Mosqueda, Noah Cobb, 27s, Stian Gregerson, Luke Brennan, Aiden Torres. Bart Sleesh is the end of 28. So it was a 4-year deal, signed at the end of January 24. Bart Sleesh signed through 28. So that is what you're looking at when it comes to Atlanta United. Secondary transfer window. is July 18, Thursday, July 18 to Wednesday, August 14. So that's what, and Tom, thanks for dropping by for hour number 1. So that's what you're staring at. Thursday, July 18, just in time for Leagues Cup. And I think, and also what this does involving the Leagues Cup window is it helps you integrate these players that you pick up in this window. And this is for any club, because as I sit here and grab my calendar, July 18, 2 days before the home match with Columbus, the last match at the end of this horrific run that you're going to have. Was it 8 matches in 33 days? Is that what we said yesterday? Columbus on the 20th. Transfer window opens on the 18th, the day after the matchup with NYC at home. Day after, transfer window opens up. Leagues Cup starts the 26th. So you have the Leagues Cup matchup on July 26th. And then you run through Leagues Cup if you're in it or not. I'm just saying the Leagues Cup calendar carries you through the matchup to Los Angeles, August 24th. So you have basically 5 weeks, almost 5 weeks, well, a month. Well, 5 weeks when the window opens. So 5 weeks from July 18 to that matchup with LAG on August 24th out in Carson. 2, integrate new players that you bring in this secondary transfer window, regardless as to what level. Oh, we got our first bot this morning. All right. So QWE with a bunch of numbers behind you. I will be in the process of blocking you now and reporting. Let's see. So, for the longest time when we had bots show up in the Twitch pitch, I thought all you had to do was sit there and yell bot, and then it was taken care of. But once again, me and technology, finally realizing that all you've got to do is submit a report, and it took me forever to figure out how to submit a report. So, blocked, and we're off and running again. Okay. So, failing on our U22 signings undermined our depth. Which U22s? Unc, which U22s? I don't think that Noah has failed. I don't think that Caleb has failed. Which young DPs, which young ones are we talking about? Okay. Let me go back to the beginning because I haven't said hello to everybody. Morning, Alex. Morning, Tom. Tom had to go to a meeting. Morning, Michael. Morning, Wiley. And remember, Wiley's got a ticket for Thursday. Morning, Katie. Once again, morning, Alex. Morning, Michael. Morning, Unc. Let's see. Morning, Pars. Morning, Emilio. And I would say morning to me, but I'm sitting right here. Let's see. Who else is here this morning? Did I see 4-card drift in this morning? Did I see 4-card drift in this morning? It's I'm in the late 9 o'clocks. Pars and Alex. And morning, David. So David drifted in late in hour number 1. Michael and Tom both saying no to Romelu Lukaku. So Nick, Romelu Lukaku to Atlanta. Oh, it was kind of just as a bit of a work. But now that we are in day 3 of waiting for a tip of the hat from somebody who basically thought that players thought it was okay to lose in Major League Soccer.
Well, why are we waiting? Why are we waiting?
I'm just saying it's the running list. I mean, we move on with our lives, obviously, but bruh, it would have been nice, is what I'm saying, basically.
Look.
Did it at your last place of employ, but you don't do it here?
Well, look, there's a whole lot of issues in the world right now. And Mr. Glass neglecting to thank the fans who embraced him and cheered him. I don't know if he got really super sensitive that Atlanta fans, were booing the team for poor performance. I don't know if he got in his feelings because of who knows. We could come up with a million ideas. I'm not waiting for anything from anyone. Why? I don't understand why we should wait for Mr. Glass, who I'm referring. That's how I'm going to refer to him going forward.
Right on. Okay.
Mr. Glass wants to go to Cruz Azul and chase a check.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him.
Yeah,
I hope he gets paid.
Yeah.
I wish no ill will upon him, but I'm not going to sit there and look at fond memories from a person who would score a bunch of goals and then go and take extended vacation on the bench. So, it's just, I don't know. When a Merc proves they're a Merc, then you have to remove the emotion from the equation.
Right. Yeah, and to Michael's point, not waiting either just would have been nice. That's all.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Michael. Mm-hmm. I do. But he's gone full mercenary mode, and that's fine. The law of diminishing returns kicked in super early on him.
Yeah.
So, if we're going to chase Gonzalo out of town for not getting enough wins, then we can chase, Giakoumakis out of town for not being able to, to stay healthy and be available for a call. David and I are thinking the same thing at the same time. Sometimes the best ability is availability.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. No, I'm, and when you're only out there 53% of the matches that you were available for?
Yeah.
That you were rostered for?
Yeah.
That's and you're supposed to be the talisman. And wow. Okay. So Michael, I mean, this time last year, my wife spent hours asking vendors in Athens for a Gigi Grease shirt. Love Gigi. Yeah. And then David's like, loved Gigi's game till he couldn't have consistent time on the field. It's like, bro, we got work to do and you're not here. So it's trying to find folks to fill in your spots. And when somebody comes knocking, like Cruz Azul does, hey, we'll pay you X. And in my cursory math, I think Atlanta United doubled their investment after MLS takes their cut, Celtic takes their cut, et cetera, et cetera. Atlanta United doubles their investment on someone that was only available 53% of the time.
Yeah, that's great business, man. That's great business. If you can have you can have a Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have it parked in your garage and you could show it to your friends and be like, look what I have. I have this great Ferrari. It's like, cool. How often you get to drive it? Not often. Why? Because it barely works. Okay, so you're just setting money on fire. I mean, great. Good for you. But at the end of the day, homeboy would go out and it was a hamstring or it was a quad or it was an ankle or it was, I don't know, something. Me and my family love being in Atlanta. Okay, great. I'm going to post 15 pictures of me in a Cruz Azul shirt and nothing for anyone else. Okay, great. The whole idea of, him being the future, I think was very real for a while.
Yeah.
That he was going to be like this, this big body striker who was going to come in and provide an element that Joseph couldn't provide post injury.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the end of the day, we have a player who ended up getting, or we had a player who ended up getting hurt more often than not.
Yeah.
Was streaky at best. And when he came back from injury, he was a slow starter. It seemed that it took a while for him to get back in rhythm. If somebody wants to pay $10 million for that,
yeah,
awesome,
bruh,
fun. just a great. he's coming in for medical. Oh God. Oh my God. please pass the medical.
Yeah.
It is Uncle No Pockets. I'll be happy about the profit when it translates to results. In the meantime, it's just money in Arthur's wallet.
But I don't think Arthur cares, though. I think Arthur wants to win.
Yeah,
so
I think
it's money in the sense of it being in his wallet. I think it's money that can be spent by Atlanta United and should be spent by Atlanta United. So I think that's how I'm looking at this. Michael has been making a point for a while with when the GG discussion started, and it's a point that he brings back up this morning, and I'm glad he did. Michael has made the point that many of the matches GG missed were the result of international duty. Michael wants Atlanta United to stop signing national team members.
I disagree with that. I understand where you're coming from. I really do. And there's no but following it. I just disagree. I think that this is an issue that every other league in the world deals with. Mm-hmm. I think that that's a sign that you're making significant investments and you're not going on the cheap. I mean, there are teams in our league that don't have as many national team players on them. Right. And for a few chunks of the year, they look really good because they're not missing, significant talent. But I will say that I would prefer having a higher level of talent come crunch time than, some of these teams that have just guys. You may punch above your weight once in a while, but I think what I will agree with on Michael's end is that if you do go into the world of signing international level talent, you better damn well have a significant amount of depth to back them up, because you are going to, as FIFA starts trying to get, the quest for more money.
Yeah.
And they start having and inventing more tournaments.
That's the mini series, FIFA 24, the quest for more money.
Right. And I think that it really calls upon your staff to make significant investments in the backup side. I think Atlanta seems to have finally solved the equation of the backup striker here.
Yeah.
With Thierry and excuse me, my ADHD is kicking in. The guy
Daniel Rios.
Yeah, Rios. Yeah. So, with Rios and Thierry, I think you have guys that can, again, as said earlier, availability.
Yes.
They're available.
The best ability is availability.
Right. It's just something where we have. I like the idea of being able to have international talent. I think it puts you in conversations, from a global perspective. But right. I don't want to end up being San Jose. I don't want to end up being the Rapids. I don't want to be Real Salt Lake. I don't want to be one of these middling MLS teams. And there are people who look at Nick, look at the record now. Yeah, that's fair. But I don't want to be there. I don't want to be that one of those teams that sits at the bottom. But I would like to be able to have, I want to be able to have players who are capable of playing for a national team.
Yeah.
I would like to have recruits who, that we develop in-house that are capable of playing on a national team. What happens when you have 5 or 6 academy kids who suddenly are being looked at from a national team perspective? So you can't completely divorce yourself from that process, but you better damn well learn how to thrive in it. And I think that's somewhere that we have struggled in the past. It seems that we're sort of, solving that, in the process of solving that now, which I'm, okay, great. But
yeah,
you can't divorce yourself from the national team process. You just can't, not in today's soccer world.
Yeah, where David says the reason he doesn't worry about the international caliber players, Fortune, Wolf, Brennan, Cobb, Morales, etc., have all shown the ability to hold their own almost any time they've been asked. David has academy faith now. And I think that speaks to what Atlanta United has been building there. Emilio, on the flip side, says we shouldn't have backup depth internationals like from Venezuela, TNT, and other Caribbean countries that don't play for much.
Well, it's fair. National team duty scares the crap out of people who are more club-centric.
See Robinson, Miles in post-match sprints.
Well, guess what happens when your manager's an idiot? And 3GB is an idiot. He certainly was in the beginning. It's not a permanent state, but in the beginning of his national team tenure, 3GB was an idiot because having those players do sprints and all that after sitting on the bench was just moronic. Mm-hmm. You're not gaining anything from that. But
here, you didn't play, so run.
Right. And if I were after that, I probably would have been one of those guys like, hey, look, you're not calling me anymore. I'll sit my ass at home. If I have to choose between my paycheck and playing for you, I'll just sit my ass at home. And moments like that make me realize that Darlington Nagbe was way ahead of the curve when it came to national team service. Like, nah, just don't call me. Are you sure you're one of our? But nah, I'm good. Mm-hmm. I'm good. I don't need that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, but it's the world that we live in. It's not the NBA. It's not, it's not the NFL. We live in a world as soccer fans where the national team comes calling on a regular basis, mm-hmm. more so than it used to be. Yeah. And you are going to sit there and clutch pearls every time it happens because, if you are, an international with Venezuela or Trinidad or any of these other countries that don't have much to play for, you're probably playing on a really crappy turf.
Yeah.
In horrible situations. So, it's something where it's like, all right, no matter what, you're going to be stressed. And Michael, I'm the same way, man. I'm a season ticket holder for Atlanta. I've got 3 season tickets. They cost a pretty penny. And I think that what I'm saying with that is, if you're living in Georgia and you're a Liverpool fan, mm-hmm. or a Milan fan, I'll use myself as an example. I'm a Milan supporter, right? So if, Mikey Magnon goes out to play for France and ends up getting hurt, I can get pretty mad about it. I think that the pain's going to be a little different because I don't have season tickets for AC Milan, but there are people in Milan who do have season tickets that when Magnon gets hurt, they are enraged because it was like some friend from France friendly, Mm-hmm. So it's different now that we have our dollars backing a particular club, because it makes us go, oh, well, hold up. We need to look at this from a risk perspective. Do I really want my player being called up for a meaningless friendly? That's the bullets that we're going to sweat now, because it's the level of player that we are either signing or developing, So, but yes, please make no mistake. Mm-hmm. I'm not one of those people who lobs grenades and from the safety of having $0, backing what, my investment. I am a day one, I'm a freaking day one person when it comes to Atlanta United, right? Like the minute those tickets you had to put the down payment, for the founding members. So I was right there from minute one. I've got my founding member scarf shoved in a closet, but yeah. And I think, Michael, MLS's scheduling does not help them at all. MLS's scheduling does not help. And the difference between MLS and every other club around the world is they don't have the juggernaut of the NFL eating up eyeballs.
Yeah.
We are going against baseball. We are going against, we'll go against the NBA playoffs and NBA finals, but we don't have the juggernaut of the NFL to deal with in France or Italy. England, yeah, there's competition for eyeballs, but there's nothing like what we have to deal with here with college football and the NFL.
Right.
So MLS is scared. I'm happy to have a conversation with anyone else who disagrees with this. MLS, I think, is rightfully scared to shift calendars. They know, I believe, that from a player perspective, it makes more sense to move in alignment with what the rest of the world does. However, they also look and say, okay, do we really want to go against, Alabama, LSU? Do we really want to go against the NFL playoffs? Do we really want to deal with that? The answer is no, we do not. So we're going to keep this schedule right the hell where it is.
Right.
So they'll deal with early season football. They'll do what they can with it, but they're not trying to get involved in competing against NFL playoffs and all that mess. There's no way in the world they're going to do that. And not to mention that if you do move to the international schedule, let's play a game of let's pretend.
Let's pretend.
Let's pretend we move to that international schedule, right? And we're doing January.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
January in Minnesota?
Yeah. January in Chicago. Okay.
Montreal. There's a reason that Montreal's first 6 to 8 are on the road.
Right.
Now.
Toronto. You want to go to Toronto in January, February? Hell no. We saw what happened. We saw it happen when the U.S. tried to pull their, the Great White Flight to have, to play games up in the freezing super cold for, the national team games. You had a player who ended up getting frostbite.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a risk you want to take on a regular basis.
Canada playing in a snowdrift in Edmonton during the qualifiers for CONCACAF.
Right.
Figured they would do it for competitive advantage, and they did. I think it was it the matchup against Honduras, I think, that was in Edmonton, where you had players doing snow angels into snow banks that were swept off the field.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
I get it. I do. I just think I think we're in a place where the sporting landscape in America is so damn unique.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, unlike virtually every other league in the world, you're not covering near as much space or near as much territory rather as you would here in MLS. Atlanta could go play Vancouver. Atlanta could go play Toronto. Atlanta will go play Toronto. Atlanta will go play Montreal. That's a level of travel that most other leagues in the world would, shrivel up and die over. So,
David wondering if they could shorten the summer off season, have a longer winter break, like Christmas through, say, February 1st, be a little creative. Most leagues have a 3 or 4 week winter break, don't they?
Italy has a nice little break in the winter, typically around religious holidays. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think there's value in that statement, David. I think so. I think that you could get creative with the schedule, and I'll lump my response to David and Michael back to back. Because Michael says even with all the scheduling problems, they jammed in another competition. Smart.
Hey, money's walking.
I imagine there's a sarcasm font in there.
Yes, smart. Yeah, sarcasm font.
Yeah.
Well, and Michael, to Michael's previous point, don't schedule league games during FIFA breaks, makes the league look bush league. The MLS gives the teams the option of making up matches in international windows. And that was why, 10 days ago, a week and a half ago, 2 schedules back, you had the 4 games on a Saturday that were in an international window. But that was because those 8 teams decided, we'll go ahead and dive in. We're cool and do those kinds of things. I don't know off the top of my head what the international player percentages were with those 8 squads, but those 8 teams decided to have matchups in that window, and it was something that they themselves decided to do. It would have to come from New York City to sit there and say, no, we're not doing anything in an international window.
Yeah, and the point I was going to finish up with David and Michael was that it's the quest for more money.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean understand, man. I agree with you guys that jamming extra competitions in, like it's the just like the Carabao Cup in England, right?
Gummy Bear,
yeah, the Gummy Bear Cup, or the Sonic Burgers International Trophy of Destiny, or whatever you want to call it, whatever latest tournament. It's all about money.
Mm-hmm.
And to your guys' point, I agree that you should either add extra breaks, or you should change the schedule, or change the roster rules to allow teams to have expanded rosters.
Yeah, and just do it like where you don't have the emergency call-up mandate where you can only do it twice. Look, if you've got a roster issue, then let them do it. Let them do it. It is not that hard. It's not that hard.
Well, or do it make it like the Savannah Bananas, where the Savannah Bananas like call in Johnny Damon, for a game. And like, oh, good God. Okay. We're calling in Bill Spaceman Lee for a relief appearance.
For a relief appearance in Boston.
Right. So, you know what? We're going to have, like if a team wants to call in Sasha Kleshtin for a spot start, or, hey, Didier Drogba, you still halfway fit, buddy? You want to come in and play one game? I mean, make it, I don't know, get creative.
Yeah, as long as it fits under your cap, then everything's fine. Hang on just a second. We mentioned roster depth. Atlanta United announced this morning Edwin Mosqueda expected to miss in the next 3 to 4 weeks after suffering a left meniscus injury in the club's match against Houston. The rehabilitation process will determine his return to play timeline. So that was the official injury with Edwin, which caused the early sub and the early burning of the sub window, which caused Luke Brennan to come in. And Cool Hand Luke came in like gangbusters, like we've seen over the last handful of years. But Edwin Mosqueda, short version, now out 3 to 4 weeks plus recovery because of a meniscus injury that happened in the matchup against Houston. So that's where we are. And now the right wing looks like it is Luke Brennan's to start.
All right. Well, good luck, Luke.
So
I mean, that's all you can do. Good luck, man.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
It's just all right. It just sucks. It really sucks. Michael, I don't know about if Sweden is playing right now. I don't know. I would imagine they're not. Based on your question, I would imagine they're not.
So let's see. Swedish.
I agree with you. It's stupid that MLS is playing during Copa America, during the Euros. It's stupid that they are playing. However, it is the quest for more money. And, either we, as consumers, look at these relationships with the teams and ignore all of the marketing that says we fight for you, we pull for you, we are we're all the same side. No, you're a business, and we're going to treat this as a business customer relationship. If you go that route and you say, all right, I'm not going to support this anymore. I'm going to go support like USL, League One or whatever, where, you don't have to worry about international call-ups really. There are options available, but if we continue to support this, then it's what we got to learn to accept the fact that the quest for more money will mean that our players will be put into harm's way more often, and all in the name of that sweet, sweet advertising revenue.
Yeah. I'm checking Michael's. So they are playing right now. They had matches. Match week 12 was in the Allsvenskan was on June 1st and June 2nd. So now I'm backtracking to see when their league started.
But that they're not playing in the Euros though, right? Like during the Euros, they're not playing.
Oh, Sweden is not in the Euros. I do not believe. No, sir.
No. Meaning that the league, the Swedish league, is not playing during the Euros.
Let's see. So 8, 9, 10. Hang on. So 5, 16. I'm checking my match weeks here. I'm going one at a time. 5/27, and let's see. So 6/1 was 12. 6/1 and 2. No, they're not. They play next on July 6. Match week 13 is July 6 in Sweden.
Yeah. So again, I think that's the right. I think it's the right move to pause a league during large international tournaments like this, especially if you are trying to sign more South American talent.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to recruit players who are, you have LAFC trying to sign European internationals. You have Galaxy trying to sign, European nationals, and oh well, they're older. We're not going to have to worry about them. Olivier Giroud is not going to have. We're not going to worry about him because he's his age. Oh hell no, France still called him up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But they're not starting the handsome man. He's coming in he's coming in out of the bullpen to give you 30, if that much.
Yeah, which I think he prefers. But somebody in league office has to be looking at this. Somebody has to be. I'd like to think they are.
Mm-hmm.
To sit there and go, guys, going forward, we may want to start keeping track of ticket sales during international windows when when the cavalcade of stars are not here. When we have Copa America and the Euros going back to back, let's take a look at our ticket sales and our rev. And does this make sense to play? To me, it doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to sound like I'm combative in disagreeing with you guys, but I'm not going to meet you on the level of anger.
Yeah.
Because I have accepted the fact that this is the quest for more money.
It's a business.
It's a business. And somewhere along the line, they have done the math that, oh, well, it makes more sense to have these games than not.
Mm-hmm.
So, or maybe Apple has pushed the thumb down and said, I don't care, play the games. So, because I agree with what Uncle No Pockets is saying.
You will play the games. You're under contract.
That's right, buddy. From a fan perspective, watching matches filled to the brim with academy players can't be the attractive soccer they want to bring more eyes in. Completely agree with that. It is not the match you want to see. If I have, a choice between what game I'm watching, I'm probably going to watch the international game where the stars are all there rather than see a game where, local game with, B-list talent. I don't know. I'm just going to make my own decision there, and people can judge me however they want. But I want to have the best sporting experience available because I'm not getting that time back, right? That once I use that time, it's gone. I'm never getting it back. And the money that I spend, I would like to spend it having a good time, not hate watching.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, I'm going to have to make these choices. So I'm going to make the one that is going to bring me the most enjoyment and excitement. And that's the whole point of this. It's a recreational activity. I'm not contractually obligated to watch a particular event. So, four card nailed it. Yeah, you assume they've done the math.
Yeah.
You're also assuming they're interpreting the math correctly. Yes, completely accurate 4 card.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the quest for more money, and you just either accept it or not. These players are pushing back on a lot of this stuff. they're pushing back and saying, hey, where's our cut for this particular thing? You're asking for more international tournaments. What are we, where's our cut on this? You have teams like Real Madrid, and they're pushing back, saying against Club World Cup and things like this. Like, we're half the reason people are tuning in to watch this. Why are people tuning in to watch Real Madrid? Or are they tuning in to watch the Kojima Antlers? We should get compensated fairly for this. FIFA pushes back and says, no, this is a prestige event. It's essentially free advertising for you. Well, it's Real Madrid. We don't need advertising. So they're making more and more tournaments, because a tournament is an isolated event an exclusive event, which means you can charge exclusive advertising dollars. You are the exclusive sponsor for this event.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Powerade pregame.
Pregame.
Yeah, it is the the Tampax postgame report. I mean, like, whatever you want to call it, somebody's putting ad dollars down. And when FIFA sees an opportunity to make a buck, they're going to take it.
Oh, yeah.
When MLS sees an opportunity to make a buck, they're going to take it. And every business so on will do the exact same thing. So that's why if I seem like I'm a little flat, there's a little bit of flat affect in my voice.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, because I've already accepted the fact that they're going to try to squeeze as much blood from that turnip as humanly possible.
Yeah. Number one, it's a business. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
And no, I understand that until the United States and say specifically Major League Soccer decide that they want to flip the calendar, which I don't think they are, because they view themselves as a property that is individualistically theirs.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to be in the calendar with everybody else. We're gonna stick where we are. So, Jarrett, we just continued the discussion, and now we're on the calendar and fan perspectives and all this kind of stuff. But no, until the calendar switches, which I don't think it will, this will be what is going on in the United States.
It's tough to flip the calendar here. I think you already have to account, if you look at the calendar, you already have to account early season for like Montreal and Minnesota.
Yeah, we got into that. Yeah.
You flip the calendar, and the bolts and nuts of the season are in November, December, January, February. Are you going to put Minnesota and Montreal on the road Toronto on the road for 4 months?
Well, I mean, you end up doing that at the beginning of this current calendar, and
but then you get the entire summer.
Yeah,
that's like a month of Montreal plays on the road to start because like Quebec is frozen.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
we're talking a month versus 4 months.
Yeah,
that's where my brain is with,
man. Yeah. We mentioned the European calendar. And Nick, how much attention are you giving to the Euros outside of the days that the Azzurri are playing?
A decent amount. I downloaded VIX because I refuse to watch Fox. I refuse to watch Fox Sports and their lineup of wannabe WWE talent.
Mm-hmm.
I watch VIX. I enjoy it. It's a delightful experience. And so, yeah, I'm tuning into the Euros across the board.
And if you have T-Mobile, even if it does not fit you to a T and it's not very mobile, you can get VIX as a subscription with your T-Mobileness. So,
especially if you thought you had a price lock guarantee, because I think they're being sued about that right now.
Uh-huh. So you've got that. And yesterday in the activity, we mentioned Romelu Lukaku and his awful, no good, very bad day, and how Slovakia got the one goal. Well, yeah, 4-card, we're kind of getting there. The no good, very bad day for Romelu Lukaku and Belgium. Then Romania put 3 on the board early, and they took care of Ukraine. And then I got to get this drop. I always forget to put this drop in the notes, but France got the 1-0 win, and Kylian Mbappe may be out for the remainder of the group stage because his nose got broken, and they are avoiding surgery for the moment, but he is going to be fitted for a mask, and he's definitely going to be out for the next match, but might just be out for the group stage in general after yesterday. But the larger thing came up in the rules. UEFA still does not have the concussion sub as a part of their bylaws, and it is a result of what happened, I want to say, with Beth Mead a couple of years ago, and in the Women's Champions League, Beth Mead in the matchup against Ajax back in 2022 forced off after a clash of heads with an Ajax defender. Arsenal boss was told he could make a concussion sub before being informed it would not be allowed. And so then Headway at the time criticized UEFA over the incident. So UEFA is not in line with IFAB when it comes to head injuries and concussion subs. So literally it got to the point to where Kylian Mbappe is, down in, he's down and they're having to treat a broken nose, but he cannot be looked at. It's like you've got 3 minutes to figure out whether or not you want to sub him. Man's got a broken nose. They're trying to check for concussion, but there is no concussion sub in a UEFA event at present. Well done, UEFA. Hashtag sarcasm font, Nick.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to solve it, right? This is you have some groups, and this is something that, especially for our younger listeners, right? I'm gonna be the grumpy old man for a moment.
Okay.
You will find in any endeavor that there will be a couple of different groups of people you're going to interact with. You're going to have some people who are completely on board. You're going to have some people who are like, I don't know. And then you're going to have some people who are just dead set on being a freaking anchor. They're going to drag and they're going to drag and they're going to slow you down. And it's because they fear change for a couple of different reasons. One, because they feel like they are incapable or unwilling to adjust with the times. They don't want to spend the money necessary to take advantage of whatever changes on the horizon. Or they're just being nonsensical idiots, right? They don't think they're being nonsensical idiots, but they are. You are going to have to identify who the anchors are in whatever endeavor you are a part of. And you will have to work like a mad person to get rid of them. Mm-hmm. We see this in MLS with the people who don't want to spend money. They want to keep the salary and the roster construction exactly as it is now, or even go back some, because it's the only way that the cheapos could be competitive.
Right.
You see it in parts of Europe when it comes to rules like the concussion sub, because we used to do it down on the long shore, and then they go about their whatever it is that they're freaking mushy peas and whatnot, and so just because that ain't the way we used to do it, they think that's a valid excuse for not improving the product.
Yeah,
and it is infinitely better for the game. It is infinitely better for the players if the manager, who is a person who's going to be caught in a win now mentality, to say, okay, not to go full Bud Kilmer in Varsity Blues and be like, I don't care if you're 2 steps away from death, go back out there and play. We need to win, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of being like, hey, look, we've got this super awesome player right here that we're going to sub in for you. We're going to survive.
Yeah.
Make sure you're okay. Right. So we've got to get these anchors out of the business and force these dinosaurs into extinction. So that way we can move forward with the world and say, okay, this is better for player health. It's better from a competitive standpoint. And if UEFA was wise, they would come in and say, hey guys, going forward in the knockout rounds, we're doing concussion subs. Have a great day.
Yeah.
And people will complain, well, why didn't you do it in the group? Because we didn't, but we're doing it now. I mean, and just figure out and make your adjustment. you know, I don't know. I'm happy to be on an island on this one, but the anchors will kill you every damn time. They'll kill your business. They'll kill your progress. They'll kill everything, and they won't care because they're happy with mediocrity.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, it is, Jared, it is increasingly frustrating that you always have an anchor like UEFA, but they seem for the moment to be, and I have heard no discussion from UEFA whatsoever about, we're thinking of changing. We're thinking of switching and we're going to do the concussion sub, but they seem to be stuck back in a moment in the Women's Champions League in 2022 to reinforce the fact that, we're good. Gee, it's just, I mean, it is profoundly frustrating when you have these anchors like this. So, so that's what you're staring at with UEFA and concussion sub and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, it looks like Kylian Mbappe is out for at least one match, if not the remainder of the group stage, because they want to make sure that he, I don't know, can actually breathe and get some rest and get some sleep and things like that. So those things that were those things that that are just basic for human existence that apparently UEFA doesn't want to take the next step on, and all these kinds of things. We went over the odds.
What's necessary for human existence is even up for debate nowadays.
That is true. That is absolutely true. Yes. That is absolutely true. When Jarrett gets back, I do want to discuss Jaden Hibbert and the loan to Birmingham for the next 5 or 6. Looks like 5 or 6 matches maybe. Jaden will be getting some reps with Legion, with all of those, with the injuries that they've had as well. Only the 2 matches today. Nick will be watching on VIX, and it's like $5? Is it $5 a month, or did you go ahead and dive in? Are you on the 30-day trial, or did you actually get the subscription?
I got the subscription because I want to keep it running through Copa America.
Okay, I'm down with that. I understand that completely.
Yeah, I refuse. Again, I will look at things like as a consumer, right? A savvy consumer,
right?
And my evolution on that started when I was at a cybersecurity company, and somebody came in and tried saying that we were going to be moving to the HSA, the HSA. And they said, well, we feel like it will make you all savvier consumers of your healthcare options.
Did they have the finger pistols going at the same time?
No, but he was quite smarmy, and he was like, if you have an MRI, you're gonna shop around for that MRI. I'm like, no, I'm not, because it's my knees feeling like it's imploding like the friggin' Death Star. So I'm not going to necessarily be making a lot of cost comparative analysis on MRI places. I'm just going to is my knee operational in the next 6 months or not? But to me, I feel like with VIX, it came down to, do I want to hear Alexi Lawless being a professional wrestling heel? The answer is no. And I'm not even going to entertain it. I'm not even going to put it on mute, because I don't want Fox gathering numbers saying, ooh, we had X number of people who listened. They can't tell that I put it on mute. So I just put it on VIX. Yeah. And I would rather have a non-English speaking freaking broadcast than deal with Alexi Lawless and whoever else, the cavalcade of idiots that Fox elects to trot out. They'll have a couple of great announcers or great commentators, and then they'll put some Nimrods up. So I'm going to put on VIX. I'm going to put on Espanol. I'm going to get some culture in my damn life. I'm going to try to learn a different language, and I'm going to call it good, because it's an infinitely better broadcast.
Okay. Jarrett Forecard wants to know if apparently Nick missed Landon's hair or lack thereof.
I didn't miss that. I saw that. I saw that before.
I need Landon to just let it go.
It is a hard. Okay, John has hair. Jarrett has hair.
Yeah, kind of.
You can see in the image that I do not. And I used to do the Jersey Shore thing, where it's like I believed, for a period of time, that product would cover up the fact that, my hair was being deforested faster than the friggin' Amazon rainforest.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a barber shop, and the barber said, you know, how do you want it? I said, oh, just make it look good. He said, make it look good. I said, yep, make it look good. And he goes, cool. And he put the clippers in the middle of my friggin' head and just went, and as he did it, he said, you just got to trust me, bro. You got to trust me.
Trust me, bro.
And he was right. You know, the idea that it is hard to give up having a full head of hair. However, more often than not, when you see these people get the hair replacements and whatnot, and if you have it, good for you. But there are a lot of folks who get the hair replacement and they don't do the necessary like medical, the drug taking that's required to keep it, or any of the other therapies that are required to keep it. And it looks like you have a dead muskrat staple gun to the top of your head.
Like your boy Conte.
So it's you just got to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
It's that barber did me the greatest favor of my friggin' life. Just shaving it. Just get rid of it. Landon, baby, let it go.
Well, and Mike McGee actually posting to his social medias the conversation that he had, alerting Don Ovan to the profile shot and getting the lowdown on what actually was going on. And apparently it is something that is in the process of happening, where Landon is trying to add follicles. And he was in stage 1, and it was a profile shot. And he was apparently told, according to McGee's social media, that they weren't going to see it. And they did. Everybody. So we now know the rest of the story with Don Ovan. And, Nick, Nick may be correct.
I'm just saying, I see whatever it takes for you to be confident getting out the door in the morning is what you need to do. So don't listen to me. Don't listen to anyone else. Whatever you need to do to make you feel confident going out the door, do it. However, please be advised that the visual experience will be very different from what you think you look like sometimes to what is actually happening. Like I saw like a 30-something-year-old dude who had a comb over. You're not fooling anyone. When your part is on the side of your head, we know it's a comb over.
Yeah.
Okay? Landon, I think what happened is he had the hair thing happening, and it was supposed to be a comb over, and he had headphones on at some point, and the headphones dragged it down. And so when that happened, nobody okay, we're going live in 3, 2. Somebody looked over and goes, "Oh my God, his hair! It's too late. You're at the quiet one. You're going live." So I don't know. Emilio says that anyone consider Landon may have some medical stuff going on. I mean, like hair transplant replacement or something to that effect. I don't know, but that to me, it's a production failure more than anything else. Whether he has medical stuff going on or not, he's putting himself on camera to, in front of a live audience. Someone has to protect him.
Yeah, really?
Emilio, you're missing my point. Somebody on production failed him.
Correct.
Whether he's wearing a wig, whether he's wearing, I mean, there are NBA commentators. Was it Marv Albert? Marv Albert had he had a freaking toupee for a number of years.
Fratello.
Yeah, Fratello had a hair like a toupee going. It doesn't matter what the talent is wearing or what's going on with them. They have to protect him. Mm-hmm. Somebody should have had the stones to say, Landon, whatever the hell's going on with your hair, let me bring you a mirror and let him try to fix it. And Landon has to make a choice now of, do I go back out with this, whether it's chemo, hair replacement, whether it's, a wig, whatever. He has to make a choice of whether he's going to go and present himself as a baldy or with enhancements. But somebody on the production has to protect your talent.
Correct.
because they don't have a self-facing mirror. Somebody has to walk up to him with a mirror. And this is not like Chadwick Boseman when he lost all the weight and people called him Crack Panther. Like this is very different. If he is having chemo, then still that doesn't change the fact that the production staff needs to be like, hey, Landon, you need to fix your hair or fix whatever's going on upstairs. They failed to do that, so now it's exposed. He's got to make a choice.
Yeah. Kevsey, see you tomorrow. But no, I think Mike McGee, Landon admitted that it is a hair augmentation that was going on, and that was in the first stage. So that was what was going on. And Mike McGee was like, dude, you better check Twitter and let your barber hear about it. So that was what was going on with Landon. But
just cut it off, man.
I mean, you might be at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
so
just look, man, you
just go for it.
Just you take the clippers and go. Just run it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I used to do jiu-jitsu, and one of the people in my class is a high-end Atlanta-based cosmetic surgeon, and he was getting into the hair replacement world. And he came up to me and he said, look, if not to be too forward, but if you want to do this, you just be a spokesman and I can do it for free. I said, all right, tell me about this process. He said, well, we withdraw blood from separate the platelets, put it in a centrifuge or whatever. Then we re-inject that blood back in. Then we, do these chemical medicine treatment, and then we put in the hair follicles. And I said, okay, great, but this is is there a medicine I have to take continuously? He said, yes. I said, so going forward, if I want to keep the hair on the head, I have to show up to the clinic X number of times and keep receiving this treatment. He said, yes. I'm like, I'm out, because it's like the people who do the testosterone replacement therapy. Once you're on it, you're on it. It is a lifetime debt you've just taken on.
Yeah.
Because you have to. Yes, Uncle No Pockets. It sounds like a horrible time.
Mm-hmm.
If you get involved with the hair stuff, again, whatever it takes for you to get confidence, do it. But that is not a road that I would walk. I'd rather just be bald and shave my head and let it run. But
I've always been under the impression that if at a certain age you've still got, enough on top, then it's going to stay for a while. Mine's not going anywhere right now, but I have long, and I blame my father for this, I have long argued that if it ever starts to go, we're taking the nuclear option. We're just getting the razor out, and we're just getting even if I have a lumpy head, I don't care. But that's just me. Everyone feels that way, and I also don't have to confront that problem. So can't speak to it fully.
Absolutely. We do have the broadcast assignments for tomorrow, and we finally have our referee assignments.
I meant to ask this to Nick. Sorry, John. I'm going to hijack you for a moment.
Do your thing. Yeah.
Because we made the joke about him. Nick, did he tell you my unhinged theory of what if with all your money as Atlanta United, what if you called Lukaku?
I would say that it would be so crazy it just might work.
Okay.
He's not a Chelsea
representatives player. The Chelsea representatives in the Twitch pitch have said no, and I think might fight me on site, but that's to be said.
He was at Inter he was great, and then he wasn't. But the question I have about Lukaku is what is happening with him sort of a mental barrier where he's just trying to press too hard, or is it just that too many years at the top have just broken his brain and he's just not that competitive guy anymore? And if it's the latter, I do not want him anywhere near this team. If it's the latter. But I'm not going to pretend that I know what's going on in the man's head. I'm just saying if it is the latter where it's like, yeah, I think I'm just good enough to go out there and compete and, it is what it is. No, because if it's the Lukaku that is with Belgium now and with Chelsea, the answer is negative. 0. I mean, I'd rather go get a Serie B striker than that, but it's just me.
We've got our referee assignments, and we have them out for tomorrow. Before we get out of here, remember we've got the 2 matches. The first one's on Vix and Fubo at noon, and the other one's at 3:00 with CR39 and Portugal. Very light day in what to watch and where to watch it outside of the action in the Euros. Vegas Lights at Cashman tonight hosting Colorado Springs. That's at 10:30 on the Plus. So, referee assignments for tomorrow. Charlotte and the purple team. Alan Chapman is in the middle. Ekaterina Koroleva is your VAR. Tom Supple is your AVAR. Atlanta United at DC. Pierre-Luc Lozier is in the middle. Greg Dopka is your VAR. Your AVAR is Mike Kampmeinert. Messi and friends hosting Columbus. Sergi Boyko is the man in the middle. And Yunus Morakchi is your VAR. TJ Zablocki is your AVAR. CF Montreal hosting Red Bulls. Lucas Zapala is the man in the middle. Soren Stoichkov is in the middle. Lucas Zapala is in the middle. Soren Stoichkov is your VAR. Tom Felice is your AVAR. Toronto hosting Nashville. Chris Penso is in the middle. Kevin Stott is your VAR. Luis Guardia is your AVAR. Cincinnati and Philadelphia. Jair Marufo. Good call. Jair Marufo in the middle for Cincy and Philly. Jorge Gonzalez is your VAR. Craig Lowry is your AVAR. Austin and LAFC. Ted Unkel is the man in the middle. Alejandro Mariscal is your VAR. Jonathan Johnson is your AVAR. FC Dallas, Minnesota United. Sergei Demyanchuk is the man in the middle. Joe Dickerson is the 4th. David Barry is your VAR. Barry, remember, was your VAR for Atlanta and LAFC. Robert Schaap is your AVAR. Houston and Seattle. Drew Fisher's the man in the middle. Kevin Terry's your VAR with Joshua Patlak beside him. Sporting and RSL. Mark Allerton is in the middle. Daniel Radford is your VAR. Peter Balanchunas is alongside. All caps in Colorado. Guido Gonzalez Jr. is the man in the middle. Jose Carlos Rivero is your VAR. Joseph Batko alongside. LA Galaxy and NYC. Rubiel Vasquez is in the middle. Corey Rockwell is your AR1. Yunus Morakchi gets the day-night doubleheader along with TJ Zablocki at VAR and AVAR. San Jose and Portland. Marcos de Oliveira is the man in the middle. Greg Dopka is your VAR. Mike Kampmeinert is your AVAR. Jarrett, Nick, there's a name missing.
Don't care.
Timothy Ford is not
Don't care.
in the mix.
Good.
Agreed.
He didn't do his job well, and he's facing consequences for that. Oh, no. Welcome to the rest of the world, bud.
Well, and Jarrett, you were the one who was wondering how long or how further down the line it would be before things might cycle through, and we might have our answer.
Yeah, you gotta, because you schedule these out in advance. Remember, you can't just ask a guy, he's going to make travel plans ahead of time. You can't be like, hey, in 2 days, I need you to be in Vancouver. I know I had you in Miami, but surprise.
Mm-hmm.
You can work with this crew and do this. Yeah. He's probably facing consequences for doing his job poorly. Also the absolute chicken shit of it all from
there you go.
Pro to not release the audio.
Yes.
Of the
3-minute, 7-second conversation.
Yeah. When you could have provided answers, even if it was like the LAFC one of like, oh, they were actually disagreeing with things, and then they came to consensus. Like, well, I don't necessarily agree with the way they went about it. I think, but at least then I can see where it was coming from. Yeah. With Charlotte, we were just left in the dark, and we don't know. And the fact that Pro came out and said, actually, it should have never gone to VAR, and then actually we won't release the audio to go along with that. Well, that's just going to create more questions than answers because the VAR official wasn't adequate at his job, and you can't have that.
No.
you can't. None of this is to like call into question validity. It is to call into question competence.
Mm-hmm.
Those are entirely different things. Also, I was a proponent last year for Atlanta to create heel Team 6. I wanted them to create the biggest group of assholes in the midfield impossible in this league. Felipe Martins would have been part of that. Enzo Martinez, if he was a little bit younger, bring him in on a deal out of Birmingham.
Yeah.
I want absolute jerks in that team at times. And just right now, we talked about the first hour, Nick. Right now, you need sandpaper, and you kind of need someone to be a dick on the field.
Yeah, I think so. I can agree with this. Yeah, well, one, going back to the pro being absolute cowards for not releasing the audio. WWE is more transparent than pro is, and I think that's a statement in itself. And if you're in today's society, it is very easy to go from having a conversation of where they're doing this to protect the official from a moment of idiocy to it's all rigged, right? And that conversation nowadays it's out there and it happens with regularity. And pro needs to be, as a governing body, needs to be like, you know what? We might just need to be transparent and not protect these guys and put this audio out because maybe, just maybe, that embarrassment will make them do their jobs better. Oh crap, I am going to be put on Front Street if I screw up. I don't know. It's just one of those things. As far as heel Team 6 goes, I would say I like heel Team 6 that we were in 2017, where it was we were heels, but we were like the flashy Ric Flair heels.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. I mean, like it was like we've got alligator shoes, we've got Rolex watches, the biggest house on the biggest hill on the biggest side of town. I want that kind of heel work happening. Get me that. The grinder
kind of heel that is cheered.
Yeah, the heel where it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. I don't want like the
plucky upstarts.
Yeah, I don't want plucky upstart heel. Just the outwork everyone heel. I don't want that. I want
Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, I want Ted DiBiase. Get me Ted DiBiase.
Everybody's got a price.
That's right. And put in. I want every other week. Atlanta is offering X amount of dollars for everyone else's star player. Like it have everyone infuriated. Like, why in the world is Atlanta trying to bid for Olivier Giroud? We just got him. No. Atlanta's putting in a bid.
Nick, for those of you that will be watching on VIX or at noon on your network of choice, according to the Eyes chief football writer Daniel Story, team news is out for Georgia and Turkey. Yet to be seen whether the wet and windy conditions will cause a delay in kickoff. Quoting Story on the 280-character app. We now have crowd violence in one corner of the Westfalenstadion, objects thrown between two sections who then rush towards each other to try and fight. Absolute bedlam down there. So it is apparently a monsoon at the Westfalenstadion. You have fans of Turkey and Georgia fighting, and it's in a rainstorm. And the team news is out. It is Gunak, Ayan, Muldur, Bardakci, Akaydin, Kadiolu, Koshu, Kalanoglu, Guler, Yildiz, and Yilmaz, the Turkey starting 11. For Georgia, it is Mamadashvili, Kverkvelia, Kashia, Javali, Kakabadje, Setaishvili, Kokorashvili, Mikbavishvili, and then the front three of Shakvatadze, Kvarchkelia, and Mikotadze. So they're going full choice. And
John just wanted to let everybody know he could do that.
And Saba's on the bench to start for Georgia, but it is full-blown 4-3-3. Shakhtar Kvartskhelia, and Mikotadze, the top three guns for Georgia up top. But there's fighting, and it's a monsoon.
I'm looking at the video now. It is madness. That rain is – I don't know how they're going to play this game.
Maybe we don't group all the Eastern European countries together.
I'm thinking.
Like, I don't know. I know it's the Euros, and you're kind of limited because Europe is Europe. I don't know, man. Just maybe be careful about which countries you put together.
Mm-hmm. Signal Iduna Park is suffering from the leaky roof at Old Trafford. So Signal Iduna has the same kind of fun roof that Old Trafford does. People are attempting to evacuate the water in the stadium. Game set to kick off, and it is a mess at Signal Iduna on multiple fronts. So if you want to try and find a way to watch it, find a way to watch it. So you got that coming up at noon, and then the other match at 3, which will actually be on Big FOX. Nick, any other thoughts before we go?
Be a savvy consumer of your mental health. Pick your battles. Don't engage with idiots who do not require your attention. Just because they scream for attention doesn't mean you have to give it to them.
Garrett, last thoughts before we go.
Enjoy the Euros. Enjoy the Copa coming up. Still trying to wait to find out if Lionel Messi goes to Highlands and engages in like late night Kennesaw stupidity.
Oh, that'd be great. We need pictures. Either
also,
that or
cricket. Also, T20 World Cup. USA advanced to the Super 8.
yes,
to Pakistan, which is even funnier.
Gotta love it. Big wins all across the board in the T20s. And if you like something that's the length of a little longer than your standard movie, the T20 is there for you. So watch the United States in the T20s as they've made it to the final 8. Tomorrow, Tyler Pilgrim at 9:15. Possibly Jason from DC if everything is settled in, getting ready for DC United and Atlanta United, and hopefully the busiest man in the Northeast, Dylan Butler, joining us at 10 o'clock. It's always great to have Nick and Jarrett dropping by as they can, because they do real world things and I don't in the morning side. So we'll be back at it again a little less than 22. Mucha plati, y'all. Play it safe. And since we don't have like music and anything, I'm just going to put up like the banner and say that this is the banner that closes the show. I feel like that should be a song. This is the banner that closes the show. We will see you guys tomorrow.